RESNET Chapter 8 has a pretty comprehensive protocol for preparing the enclosure for testing. This is certainly one of the most important aspects of doing a blow-door test. The equipment and the software and the protocols can only get you so accurate. And there's lots of good ways to measure the accuracy of those tests, but there's not a good way to measure the accuracy of how well you prepare the building enclosure. So this is probably one of the most comprehensive protocols for preparing an enclosure of all of the other standards that are out there. So it's a good idea to keep a copy of it with you and understand it well and make sure you're following all of these so the person following behind you doing the testing can get the same number you are. So I highlighted some of these and then we'll look at the whole standard. Won't go over the whole standard in detail because that would be really time consuming, but some of the most important things that I would consider the most important things, certainly exterior doors and windows closed, and I would also add latched. Make sure that the doors are latched in a way where they won't pop open during the blow-door tests, and the windows, it's just a way of double checking that the windows are closed all the way. If you have multiple windows open at 1/8 of an inch, it'll add to the inaccuracy of the test. So making sure the windows are latched, get every window, make sure it's latched. It pulls that together a little tighter and make sure that the windows are completely closed. Attached garages, this can be make a big difference also. If there's a lot of air leakage between the house and the garage, whether you have those doors between the garage and the outside open or closed can definitely make a difference. And the standard says all exterior garage doors on attached garages and windows should be closed. Fans capable of inducing airflow across the building enclosure shall be turned off. Now, what kind of fans could be causing pressure across the building enclosure? Attic fans certainly could. Air handler fans could. Exhaust fans, clothes dryers, all the regular culprits. If they're capable of inducing an airflow across the building enclosure, they need to be disabled or turned off. If you've got a continuously operating ventilation system, it should be turned off and the opening sealed. These are the only holes in the envelope, in the enclosure that are allowed to be sealed during the test. Continuous ventilation systems. And then there are 14 other items in the standard. So Chapter 8, and this is Section 8.2, so pretty close to the beginning of the standard. Point 2, protocol for preparing the building envelope for testing. And this new RESNET standard went into effect January 1 of 2012. Windows and doors closed and latched. Attached garages, like we talked about. It talks about how to set up the crawl space and the attics. Interior doors, chimney dampers, combustion air inlets. Goes over the details for those. Gas vents, fans we talked about, non-motorized dampers, motorized dampers, how to deal with those kinds of things. Undampered fixed and intentional openings, so if you have intentional openings in the enclosure, how do you deal with those? Whole house fans, the louvers and shutters shall be closed. If there's a seasonal cover that they used, install that, but you're not allowed to seal that if there's not a seasonal cover. There are evaporative coolers, trickle ventilators, supply and return grills, how to deal with all of these things, other combustion appliances during that test. So it's a good idea to get a hold of that. We'll put a copy of Chapter 8 on our website so you can look up additional information and go over that, the rest of that, in some amount of detail. And it's a good idea to print off that, and have copies of that. Have copies of that available. Well, thank you for taking the time to look at these blower test options, and that concludes our webinar.